It is August the 15th.
This is The Warning.
80 years ago this morning, newspapers across America were filled with the stories of the national celebrations from VJ Day, victory over Japan. The Second World War was over. Behind me, over my right shoulder, is a remnant from the Berlin Wall. It fell in 1989. And for a brief moment, everywhere in the world, freedom spread. Democracies were ascendant. The rule of law reigned supreme. The rights of man seemed indisputable. A golden age, we were told, was upon us. The 21st century has taken a dark turn. We stand at the quarter-way point, 80 years on from the end of the Second World War, at the end of the imagination of the principal architect who was the visionary who made the world the way it is today, Franklin Roosevelt. He said, speaking to the Canadian Prime Minister, it was his hope that what was to be built in peace after the end of the Second World War would endure for as long as everybody who was alive on the day that war was won was still alive. The youngest of those people, of course, is 80 years old. We should understand something. There's a difference between democracy and liberty. MAGA has democracy, and MAGA uses that vote as an engine to repudiate liberty. California has democracy, and Gavin Newsom is using democracy in California as an engine to defend both liberty and freedom and ultimately democracy. Fighting is a terrible thing, and I think Gavin Newsom understands this. I've been critical over these last months of Governor Newsom here at The Warning for not registering more quickly that the fight we're all involved in is existential. And there is no harvest to be reaped in a debate with a fascist like Charlie Kirk. Yet, Governor Newsom, and this part of his personality seems obvious to me, and it's a good thing. His instinct is always to reach out, to understand, to attempt to meet people where they are and to debate them. It is a good thing to have an instinct to reach out, to want to debate, to refuse to see an opponent as an enemy. All of these things are aspects of Governor Newsom's character that qualify him for national leadership. No leader is perfect, but great leaders can emerge from imperfect ones, and they can learn. And when you watch Gavin Newsom standing up and standing tall and looking good in a suit, much better than Trump, who's a schlub and a schlepper, you can appreciate that Gavin Newsom fully appreciates the fight that we are all in as Americans, as the federal government encroaches with growing malice and growing venom on our liberty. What Gavin Newsom understands is that the fight is zero-sum, and that power is being stripped from the people by their government, and it must be arrested immediately. If it is not, the hole we will find ourselves in as a country will be one which we cannot easily climb out of. The question that is at hand is existential. The idea that the President of the United States has it within his power to snatch people off the street, snatch them into the back of a truck, to send them to a concentration camp, and that the federal government is filled with officials like Sector Chief Bavino who thinks it's appropriate to bring his masked armed men and stand outside a news conference, a political announcement by the governor, the elected chief executive of the largest state of the union, with his long gun-cladded government jackbooted thugs?
We're here making Los Angeles a safer place. Since we won't have politicians that'll do that, we do that ourselves. So that's what we're here today, as you can see. Already making it a safer place. We're glad to be here, not going anywhere.
And the governor's inside right there.
I don't know where he's at.
He's about 100 feet behind us. Do you have any comment from him or anything?
Again,
any message?
We're making Los Angeles and California a safer place. We're going to continue to do that, and they can take that one to the bank and cash it.
It is not acceptable. It is reprehensible, and it cannot be stood for. And Gavin Newsom is meeting the moment. Heed what he is saying.
Wake up, America. Wake up. You will not have a country if he rigs this election. You will have a president who will be running for a third term. Mark my word. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around. The rules do not apply to him. The most corrupt president in history. He doesn't believe in free enterprise, crony capitalism. He is wrecking this country, wrecking the economy. He's a lawless president. Wake up, America. Wake up to what's going on.
What he proposes to do is to repeal the ballot initiative, which I was once involved in, that took the drawing of legislative and congressional districts out of the hands of politicians and put it into the hands of a citizens redistricting committee. For a time, through 2030, what Gavin Newsom proposes is to meet the threat head on to our liberty, to our democracy, by giving more power to the Democratic Party to stop the abuse of power by the MAGA Party. Because the MAGA Party is against democracy, is against your liberty. The Democratic Party is for your freedom, for your ability to make choices, for your ability not to be harassed by masked men. The Democratic Party stands for the idea that America's cities are not rotten, filthy places that should be invaded by the U.S. Army and the U.S. Marine Corps. The Democratic Party believes in freedom of speech, freedom of faith and religion and conscience. The Democratic Party believes in America. What Trump stands for is un-American. The philosophy of the masked agent in the street is fascism. And that is a deadly faith. And wherever it has bloomed, anywhere in the world, there has been suffering and violence and death. When you look at these pictures of America, this is not freedom. It is a spreading cancer. It is autocracy. Again, Governor of California was harassed and menaced by an ICE sector chief, surrounded by masked agents carrying automatic weapons like they were extras from a new season of The Handmaid's Tale. Appalling doesn't begin to describe it, but it is certainly un-American, and it's easy to describe it as that. What I'd like to say to everybody is that I can't endorse what Gavin Newsom is doing more fully, more thoroughly, or with deeper admiration or respect. Gavin Newsom is the first Democratic leader to fully, absolutely, and clearly understand what is required to fight back in this moment of autocratic menace and threat. Good for him. And if you're a Washington, D.C. Democrat, you have a choice. You can get in the parade line that wants to fight back, or you can stay in the line that is going to be kept in line. And that's reprehensible. Gavin Newsom is doing two things. He's meeting the moment, and he's starting to fulfill his potential. And this American thinks that's a great thing because our country's in big trouble. This is The Warning.
I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning.
I invite you to join this community where I promise to be honest, blunt, and direct about what is happening in this country. America is in crisis. Follow and subscribe to this channel and on Substack. Thank you.